Unpacking Matthew 7:1-5. In the Gospel of Matthew chapter 7 verses 1 through 5, Jesus delivers a powerful message about judgment. These verses, often referred to as "Judge not, lest ye be judged," are among the most well-known, yet frequently misunderstood teachings of Jesus. They offer a profound call to self-reflection and a reminder of the hypocrisy inherent in hastily judging others. Jesus' words challenge us to examine our own hearts before pointing fingers, urging us towards a path of compassion and understanding. These verses are not a prohibition against discerning right from wrong. Instead, they serve as a cautionary reminder that our judgments often reveal more about ourselves than those we judge. Jesus encourages us to approach others with humility, recognizing that we too are imperfect beings in need of grace. Section 2. The Sermon on the Mount, setting the stage for profound teachings. To fully grasp the weight of Jesus' words in Matthew 7, 1 through 5, it's crucial to understand the context in which they were spoken. This passage is part of the Sermon on the Mount, a collection of Jesus' most profound ethical and moral teachings. Delivered on a hillside overlooking the Sea of Galilee, the Sermon on the Mount attracted a large crowd eager to hear Jesus' message. In this sermon, Jesus challenges the traditional interpretations of the law, emphasizing inward transformation over outward appearances. He speaks about humility, forgiveness, love for enemies, and the importance of seeking God's kingdom above all else. It's within this context of radical love and grace that Jesus addresses the issue of judgment. Section 3. The Hypocrisy of Hasty Judgment, reflecting before casting stones. Jesus begins Matthew 7:1 with a stark warning, "Judge not, that you be not judged." This statement is not a blanket prohibition against making any judgments. After all, we are called to discern right from wrong and make wise choices. Rather, Jesus is addressing the hypocrisy of judging others while ignoring our own shortcomings. He continues in verse 2 by explaining that the standard by which we judge others will be the same standard used to judge us. This principle, often referred to as the measure for measure principle, highlights the danger of hypocrisy. When we are quick to judge and condemn others, we invite the same judgment upon ourselves. Section 4. Turning the mirror inward, the importance of self-examination. Jesus' message in Matthew chapter 7 verses 1 to 5 is not merely about avoiding judgment from others, it's about the transformative power of self-reflection. In verse 3, Jesus uses the metaphor of a speck and a log to illustrate the absurdity of judging others for minor faults while ignoring our own major ones. He asks, "Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye?" This vivid imagery highlights the human tendency to be hypercritical of others while remaining oblivious to our own flaws. Jesus challenges us to shift our focus inward, to first address the logs in our own lives before concerning ourselves with the specks in others. Section 5. Living the Teachings, Practical Steps Towards Compassionate Living. Putting Matthew chapter 7 verses 1 to 5 into practice requires a conscious effort to cultivate compassion and humility in our daily interactions. It begins with developing a heightened awareness of our own judgments. Before criticizing someone, we can ask ourselves, am I judging this person by the same standard I hold myself to? Am I being hypocritical? Furthermore, practicing empathy can help us see situations from another's perspective. Instead of assuming the worst, we can try to understand the circumstances that might have led to a particular action or behavior. This doesn't mean condoning wrongdoing, but rather approaching others with a spirit of understanding and a willingness to extend grace. Section 6. Beyond Judgment, Embracing Grace and Forgiveness. Ultimately, Matthew chapter 7 verses 1 to 5 points us towards a life that transcends judgment and embraces grace and forgiveness. When we recognize our own imperfections and need for forgiveness, we are better equipped to extend that same grace to others. Instead of being quick to judge and condemn, we can choose to respond with compassion, understanding, and a willingness to forgive. By internalizing Jesus' teachings on judgment, we can foster healthier relationships, cultivate greater self-awareness, and ultimately contribute to a more compassionate and forgiving world.